Hey guys, welcome back. Tonight on the bench, we're working on our 2021 TRX4 Bronco. Fabulous looking machine. We gave it the classic Pro Noob twist. She's looking pretty burly. Got the Vanquish Special Edition or Limited Edition gold wheels. And I knew the dog's gonna bark as soon as I started filming. That's what we're waiting for, so I gotta come back now because there's pizza here. I'm out. Hey guys, welcome back. On this episode of ProNoobRC, we are working on changing out the steering servo in our 2021 TRX4 Bronco from TRAXXAS. Okay guys, so the servo that we decided to put into the truck was sent out from our friends over at HeliDirect USA. You can find them online at helidirectusa.com and check them out. They got a fantastic inventory, obviously helicopters, servos. They also carry the FerryTech ESC line. Complete vehicles. Check them out. Great inventory. Jesse will post a link in the description. The servo they'd sent out for us to put into this truck is the TORQ brand BLS5012 Brushless Servo. It is a 10 scale servo, all aluminum, billet aluminum, very nice. And it's not just aluminum back half with the plastic ears, it's billet aluminum through and through. Looks really good and strong. Nice looking unit. So we're going to test it out. I do like to see that it has the high quality wire with the brown strip on there. This stuff tends to be a little bit thicker, a little bit stronger. A lot of the better brands like Savix and Hi-Tech will use the thicker wire. It just works a little bit better. So it's nice to see that. It already tells me that's going to be a good strong unit. Now the operating voltage of this unit is 9 to 12 volts. Now I have BECs, but the BECs I have are only capable of just reaching the 9 volt mark, which is sufficient to power the unit, but we want to go right to our max at 12 volts. Since this servo was sent out to us for testing purposes, we're going to run this thing wide open at our maximum potential and put it to its use and give it a good rating on that. So its speed overall at 12 volt is 0.11 seconds at 60 degrees travel from one side to the other, so nice and quick. And its strength, stall torque, is 50 kilograms, which is a little bit over 600 ounces at 12 volts, so that is really stout too. That's going to turn your wheels no problem. Now, it does come with your standard little grab bag of servo parts that 95% go into the garbage, and really nice aluminum TORQ with their name on there, branded. Steering horn that is clamping, steering servo horn that is clamping, and if you notice, it is a long version, which is nice. A lot of these companies will send you out one of the aluminum ones, but it's a short version, like half of this is, right? So it is very nice to see the long, and that is to meet demands of the rock crawling trucks or the helicopters and such with the extra throw that they need out of the linkages. So that's very nice that you don't actually have to go out and buy yourself an aluminum or an aluminum long one, because other companies do come with aluminum ones like Hi-Tech, but it's short. I think Hi-Tech's even a little bit shorter than just half of this, and it's just, it's good, but we end up never using them, right? So they're good for shift linkages and such. So yeah, we're gonna get this guy tossed in here, and we've got no real way to measure our steering power on this. The TRAXXAS is 2075X. Yeah, it's a 2075X servo. It's a great unit, but it just does not go the mile. Jesse and I have multiple between our personal and between the Pro Noob ones that we built together. We have many TRX4s, different uses, different styles, just whatever. We got a bunch, but this servo always craps out on it, so we are going to swap it over. And the nice thing to see is the servo wire will be long enough, because if you notice, TRAXXAS has a super long wire on there. What I usually end up doing is just cutting the wire and then splicing it and soldering it all together, because that's another way to do that, because a lot of servos have a 6-inch wire and these guys have the 9-inch wire, so that's going to be long enough to get the job done. Or it might be 12, I don't know. Not good. How many meters? How many meters? 0.3 of a meter. Okay, so first thing first, we want to just put this guy, I'll put a little bit of weight down on the front bumper, or all my weight down, and we'll collapse the front suspension, give it a wiggle on the wheel, and we'll show you a 2075. It's still a great RTR servo, but it just, the motor will cash out on it. It's done it to us 1,000 times. Well, it's done it to us every time, not 1,000, but we already know. And TRAXXAS is nice enough. If you call them, they'll send you another one over and over and over again, but how many can they really afford to send out, right? You know what I mean? Like, she's already working just under her own weight. She's working pretty good, you know. You keep doing that on the rocks all day long, that servo's gonna pack it up and head south on you. So there's our benchmark. I don't know how we measure that. Okay, so we're gonna pop this guy out. We're gonna pop that guy in. We're gonna give him some more wiggle and testing, and I am gonna take this guy and we're gonna run a JST connector off of him. We're gonna plug that into the JST connector and the Y connector that they give you to run right off the ESC, which should give us direct power to the battery. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. Okay, while I was fighting the pizza man for our dinner tonight, Jesse pulled apart the servo, the stock one. It is the 2075X. Now that red servo horn is actually the one that came with our TORQ brand. What is this bad boy again? The BLS5012. This is the one that came on there. Now, TRAXXAS has a JST power connector that comes right off the ESC, and it is live to your battery connector, so whatever flavor of voltage you're putting into here, 2S or 3S, that's what power is going to come out here and run to your servo. This servo starts at 9 volts and maxes out at 12. Now, if you run on 2S, you're only at, what is it, charged 8 something, 8.5, I think, charged, something like that. I don't know, but it's just not enough to actually run the servo according to the specs on the box. I'm sure it will run lower, but the performance won't be great, so that's why they've given it that 9 to 12 volt rating. And you know, a big beefy unit like that, you want to supply good power. So enough about that. We get the radio box open. I've taken the two power and ground wire and just unpinned them and pulled them out of the Futaba connector for the radio, whatever you want to call those, and I've separated the wires back down here. So when we run this through, I can run this guy to the radio, and this guy can branch off, and I can solder on this JST plug I have right here onto the wires, and I can actually still have that servo removable from the truck. But yeah, so we're going to run that directly to the battery. Now, 3S LiPo fully charged is, I know it says 11.1, but it's dead voltage. It fully charges, I think, 12.6 from what I can remember. I gotta call my buddy Ben on that stuff. He knows all that good stuff. I just call him and get all that. It's too much to remember. We gotta worry about paint jobs and make things look pretty. So yeah, so it's 12.6, and the maximum rating on the servo is 12 volt. So we think we're gonna be okay. It's 0.6. It's not that much. We've run 2S ESCs on 3S for years and not had a problem. So that's usually just a safety rating. It doesn't mean things are just going to explode as soon as you plug it in. Okay, so I've just done like a Y connection, bent them over like that, and done them. I haven't done them in line because I want to be able to pull these boots off and come back, and I'm going to put in another JST connector. We got the servo wire ran, plugged in there. We got the gasket in. Let's put the cover back on. I'm confident in the work. We don't need to leave this open because I know we're not going to have to go back in there and change anything. unless the servo catches on fire, which I'm confident it will not, because 0.6 of a volt over its rating is acceptable. Okay, final step is to reattach the servo to the horn. The Loctite that TRAXXAS used on their hardware has seemed to have been mixed up with the blue paint, because it did not work. So make sure you're using a good thread locker like JB Weld or who's the other brand that makes it there? Permatex gel stuff. That's a very very nice brand. And what's the other guy? Is it Loctite? Is it Loctite themselves? Yeah, and then just Loctite. That stuff works great too. Hey, don't forget about Loctite. They kind of got stakes in that game. Battery. Soda, in case we have fire. Soda fire. I found out my puke word today was Korean barbecue soda. I ain't drinking that.
Not today.
So, the radio's on. We do have the Bluetooth module in the back of the TQI radio, and that allows us to set our endpoint adjustments, also known as EPA, in the servo. So we're going to light this guy up, we're going to play with the wheel and make sure that the preset EPAs are going to be good, but we noticed this guy and this guy both hooked up on the servo tester. The TORQ what is it? The TORQ BLS5012 was actually traveling a full 90 degrees, and this guy was traveling a little bit less. So he was maybe about 80 degrees back and forth. This guy was giving me full 90 lock to lock. So he's probably going to need to be dialed back just a little bit. So radio's on. Everything's center. Let's put the power to it.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, see that servo now running on the 12 volt is, yeah, really nice. And there you go. So
wow.
There you go. I'm just gonna rip the tires off the rims. Stay on there. Yeah, there you go, guys. So that's clearly 9-day difference. That's a beefy boy servo. I like that. That's going to do fantastic out on the truck, out on the trails. That's what we're looking for when we get a servo. I like the fact I can direct power it. So yeah, the main circuit board for the servo that runs the motor, that runs all the gears that make the magic happen, resides right back behind this plate where the wires come in. If we were running too many volts and it was having trouble, that would be a hot spot. The motor be running hot, especially that we're putting my hand weight, pushing it all the way down and working it on a rubber mat. These are all things you don't want to do to your servo. That's crazy abuse. So that's going to hold up fantastic out in the rocks. The rocks are a lot less slippery than this, and usually the truck's going uphill and dance in the front end, and they're pretty light. So that's going to be awesome. Okay, and with that being said, if you guys want to check out the servo for yourself, head over to HeliDirect.com, and it is the TORQ BLS5012. Unfortunately, guys, sorry, I don't have a price on the servo. They sent this out to us for testing, but Jesse will provide a link that he will have a price directly there for you. I just don't have it with me right now, and we just wanted to get this out for you. We're going to take this guy up to the lake and shoot some quick video with him on the rock, where we have another video up there. So stay tuned. We're going to get this guy out for a little bit.